So, we need to talk about a massive shift in how wars are fought. We're moving from an era where humans were flying drones by remote control to a new reality, one where artificial intelligence can find, track, and even suggest targets, all at machine speed. Let's dig into this evolution and what it really means for accountability and the value we place on human life. 20 seconds. Just let that sink in for a moment. According to intelligence sources, that's how much time a human operator might get for a life or death decision that was just served up by an AI. That one single detail tells you everything you need to know about the incredible speed and the terrifying stakes of this new kind of war. All right, so here's how we're going to break this down. First, we'll look back at the US drone program. That's kind of our baseline. Then we'll jump to today and see how AI is escalating things. We'll get into the whole idea of waging war by the numbers, and we'll wrap up with the big one. Who is actually responsible when an algorithm gets it wrong? To really get what's so revolutionary about AI in combat, you first have to understand what came before it. The US drone program, which really took off after 9/11, basically wrote the playbook for remote, data-driven war, and it sparked the exact same legal and ethical fights we're still having today. So the official line from the US government has always been pretty clear. They've maintained that the drone program is totally legal, totally by the book. The argument goes that it's a precise, effective way to handle threats without putting American troops in danger. It's a narrative of clean, lawful, modern warfare. But then there's this number. This is the estimated range of civilians killed in U.S. drone strikes in just a few countries between 2002 and 2020. And right there, that's the core of the whole debate, isn't it? The official story of clean strikes slammed right up against the documented human cost. And a huge part of that debate was about how the program was structured. For the most part, we're talking about operations run by the CIA, deep in the shadows with almost no real oversight from Congress. This led to a system of bureaucratic kill lists where decisions were made behind closed doors. It raised huge questions about transparency and, you guessed it, where the buck actually stopped. This era also gave us a really controversial idea, the signature strike. And this was a massive shift. Instead of targeting someone because you knew their name and who they were, you could now target them based on their behavior, a pattern of life pulled from surveillance data. It became less about who you are and more about what your data profile looks like. This was the quiet but huge first step toward algorithmic warfare. And that brings us right up to today's escalation. If those signature strikes cracked open the door to data-driven killing, well, the full-on integration of artificial intelligence has blown that door right off its hinges. The whole process is moving at a speed that's just fundamentally different. Just look at the recent conflict in Gaza, where reports have emerged about this whole new AI toolkit being used. You've got a system called Lavender, which is an AI that identifies and ranks people as potential targets. Another one, Gospel, which suggests buildings to hit. And then there's a tool with the frankly chilling name, Where's Daddy, which tracks a target and alerts an operator the moment they arrive home. And how do these tools work? It's all about data, a truly massive amount of data. They hoover up everything from phone calls and digital activity to social media posts. Some have started calling this a digital occupation, where control isn't just about boots on the ground, but about constantly monitoring and analyzing a population's entire digital life. And all this data leads to a new way of thinking, probabilistic targeting. Instead of just flagging a suspicious pattern of behavior, systems like Lavender reportedly give a person a score, say from 1 to 100, of how likely it thinks they are to be a militant. A life or death decision can literally come down to a number. It's war as a statistical problem. Let's just put these two eras side by side because the difference is just wild. With the US drone program, a team of human analysts could spend weeks, literally weeks, deliberating over one single target. In this new AI model, the human's role is often shrunk down to a quick sanity check that can last just 20 seconds. The result? AI systems can generate more potential targets in a single day than human teams could come up with in an entire year. This incredible acceleration didn't just pop up out of nowhere. It's really the ultimate result of a military philosophy that's been developing for a very long time. This belief that you can take all the chaos and complexity of war and manage it, perfect it, by just turning it all into data. Academics have a name for this. They call it quantification logic. It's the big idea that you can take all the messy, gray areas of human judgment, ethics, law, morality, and just convert them into clean, simple mathematical models. It's the dream of clearing away the fog of war with enough data and enough processing power, turning impossible choices into calculations. And this way of thinking has been around for a while. You can draw a straight line from the early statistical models they tried to use in the Vietnam War, to the network-centric warfare doctrines of the 90s, to the signature strikes of the War on Terror. So the AI systems we're seeing today, they're not some sudden revolution. They are the logical finish line of a decades-long race to make war faster, more connected, and totally data-driven. But here's the catch. When you make everything so hyper-connected, you create brand new and frankly terrifying dangers. Analysis show that these central command systems, the ones linking everything together, are extremely vulnerable to AI mistakes. A single bad piece of information, one AI hallucination, doesn't just stay in one place. It can cascade through the entire network and cause a catastrophic failure. And it's not just a technical risk. It messes with the minds of the humans who are supposed to be in charge. There's something called automation bias, which is our natural tendency to just trust the computer. Then there's cognitive offloading, where we let the machine do the hard thinking for us, and our own judgment gets dull. And maybe the most dangerous of all is the risk of normalizing harm. This is where an acceptable number of civilian deaths just becomes another data point in the calculation. Not a tragedy, but a statistical cost of business. So, all of this, the incredible speed, the mind-bending complexity, the way decisions are spread out between people and machines, it all leads us to one final crucial question. When things go wrong, who's to blame? And that right there is the central puzzle of AI warfare. When a single decision is the product of a human operator, a complex algorithm, and the mountains of data it was trained on, the lines of responsibility get so blurry they practically disappear. In traditional warfare, accountability, even when it was flawed, at least had a clear path. It went up a chain of command, maybe to military leaders, maybe even to Congress. Today, that responsibility is just fractured. Is it the fault of the operator who gave it a 20-second glance? Is it the algorithm that made a mistake? Or is it the tech company that built the system in the first place? When everyone is a little bit responsible, it's very easy for no one to be responsible at all. And our legal systems just might not be ready for this new reality. For example, there is a legal concept called the Rendulic rule, which can protect a commander from being held liable if they argue they acted on the best information they had. Okay, but what happens when that best information comes from a black box AI whose logic is a mystery even to its creators? The law could accidentally create the perfect out, letting people off the hook by simply blaming the algorithm. Which leaves us with this fundamental challenge. Technology is pushing warfare to a pace that's simply faster than human thought, and faster than our systems of law and ethics can handle. So the final question isn't whether we can make war faster. We know we can. The real question is, as war accelerates to the speed of machines, can we preserve any space at all for human judgment and human accountability before it's too late?